Today's video is all about starch. So I've got some things that I always say to tell you again, but I've also got some new things that I've learned recently. So that's what we're talking about. So starch is our topic, and if you've taken my classes and followed my quilt-alongs, I am a very, very big starch believer. I feel like it makes everything better. So I feel like starch makes it easier for my cutting to be more accurate. It makes it easier for my sewing to be more accurate. It helps me line up the points easier, and it makes my blocks flatter, which I think is so pretty. So I'm like starching every step of the way. I will starch my fabrics before I ever cut them. I starch my fabrics when I got a unit within the block made, and then I starch again when the block is finished. So I have constant steady starching going on in my block making. I pretty much preach that in everything I do, in my classes, in my quilt-alongs, everything. And I was talking about this very topic in one of my emails recently. If you've not signed up for my newsletter, this is the kind of things that we discuss in it. And we were talking about it, and I got a bunch of responses that were talking about, what about the bugs? And I was like, what? What bugs? And this sent me down a rabbit hole, and I ended up having a pretty good amount of people talking about these bugs. They're called, I'm gonna put a picture up of them. They're called silverfish bugs, and they are attracted to the sugar in starch. And if you're not getting your quilts washed, or you're not keeping your works in progress in plastic containers, they are attracted to the sugar in the starch, and they come and they eat the fabric, right? I've never heard of this in my life. I was just like, at first I thought, oh, whatever. But then I got a whole bunch of people saying the same thing. I thought, well, then maybe there's something to this. Come to find out that what I use and what I call starch is actually a starch alternative, which is something else I learned. I had no idea this whole time. I've been using a starch alternative that I call starch all the time, and some of you have probably say, I don't starch because of the bugs, to yourself, and I just was none the wiser. So I use a starch alternative, which I'm hoping in future videos, may take me a while to get it, but I'm hoping to start calling, instead of starch, to call it pressing spray, because it's not starch and there's no sugar in it, and it doesn't attract the bugs, and it lifts that worry from your head. But I'm pretty loyal to Mary Ellen's Best Press. So here's Mary Ellen's Best Press, and this is a starch alternative, and I buy it in the gallon like this because it works out a little bit cheaper to do so, and I put it in my little spray mister. Now I like this bottle because it's a misting bottle. I just like it. I like the way it sprays. I like how much it sprays, all that stuff. So I use this misting bottle, and I'm going to put, ooh, that's heavy. I'm going to put links to both of these of what I use below. The Mary Ellen's Best Press brand, I'm not affiliated with them in any capacity. It's just what I tend to purchase. They also have just their own spray bottles if you didn't want to buy the gallon. It's a lot cheaper not to buy the gallon, but because I go through starch so much, the gallon works out cheaper in the long run. I use a lot of starch. But there's other brands on the market too if you don't like Mary Ellen's. This is just the only one I've ever bought besides the spray that you can find at the grocery store. That brand, I can't remember what it is, and Mary Ellen's, those are the only two I've bought. I like this whole sharing of knowledge stuff. I think it's just so helpful for everyone. So anyway, that's my spiel about starch. So if you find yourself struggling with making anything to size, but in particular snowballs, flying geese, half square triangles, half rectangle triangles, basically anything with a triangle. If you find yourself struggling with those shapes, they're not coming out the right size, they're coming out wonky, give starch a try, and I'm telling you, it's going to be a game changer, or it definitely was a game changer for me, and I hope it will be for you too. I actually starch every block though, every unit within every block. I starch everything, even a 4-patch. I just find everything easier when I do that, and I find I get more accurate cuts when I starch before I cut. So I consider that all prep work before cutting. So anyway, just putting this out there in case you might find it helpful too, or if you're struggling, this could maybe benefit you. And to let you know about the bugs and the solving of the bugs. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.